All this horse and beef products is a bit bad, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. It happens in ice hockey.
How do you mean?
Well, look at Cardiff. They thought they were getting beef in Diddy and Metty. Turns out to be donkey.
Oh, you two, stop horsing around. This is Cat's Whiskers TV.
Coming up on this week's show, we'll be looking back at the weekend games against Braehead and Fife. We'll also look ahead to a massive weekend for the Panthers with games against the Steelers, Braehead in Braehead, and also the Challenge Cup semi-final second leg against Belfast. We'll discuss the title race as it is at the moment, and we'll also talk about any other matters in the Elite League. But first, it's Paul Baum with the news.
I'm Paul Baum, and this is the news. David Ling arrives for training. Blaze target new player. Capital FM Arena takes new steps to protect fans from opposing netminders. And that was the news.
We're going to look back at last weekend's games now. Aaron joins us, as does Paul, as usual. So Braehead on Saturday. It was pretty much all over after the first 8 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a fast start from the Panthers once again, which, like you say, sort of made it a non-game to a certain degree because it was all done and dusted, which is a bit of a shame, really. I expected a little bit more from Braehead, especially the fact that they've sort of had a bit of a revival of late. So very disappointing from their point of view. But again, did we do what we needed to do, didn't we? We just scored goals early on, made the game out of sight for them, and the rest was history, as they say.
Good to see Benedict getting a hat-trick.
It was. I mean, especially that, I think it was his second goal, the short-handed one. Unbelievable techers to just skate through the Braehead defence and just left McChesney on his knees.
Yeah, I think he's still looking for his clothes after Benedict dressed him so much.
Well, he was throwing other stuff about later on, so maybe they're there with him. Who knows?
Talking about that, because we were in the privileged position of standing right behind the goal when he lost it completely. That was just odd, wasn't it? I think he tried to break his stick against the crossbar and failed, and then just stormed off, threw his stick at Mike Will, who was coming on, or Mike Will, or Will. Mike Will plays for Dundee, of course. Threw his stick at his backup, chucked his gloves onto the bench, and then apparently flipped the bird. You particularly?
I think it was at me, yes. Which I'm not going to take too much offence to, but no, I mean, to be fair to him, he didn't have much protection in front of him, did he? But I know that doesn't... The paddy whack I give 10 out of 10 for, because that was some paddy, that is. That's better than some kids I've seen. But the bit, when he comes to the bench and he flicks the old middle finger, I'm sorry, mate, but no, that's where you've taken your anger too far. If you want to have a paddy and throw your stick and try and hit the crossbar, whatever, fair enough. People have done that in the past. But then you've gone and crossed the line there, mate, by doing that to the crowd. And I think the penalty that he's got is just deserved.
Of course, the third period, we're 7-0 up. Game's long over. Dan Green comes in, and I've got to say, I think he's been on the back of some unfair criticism from the fans, just saying, what was he doing in? That triple save he made was superb.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was, it's, I think with Galbraith, wasn't it? Had about 3 goes to it, and he starts him every time. But I think part of the problem is that, all right, we got a game Sunday night, so that, we need to, want to make sure we were fresh for that. But, I've talked about it before. If you got a backup in, because we were saying Fife would have to do it this week. You got the backup in, you've got to protect him. Well, we didn't. Kowalski gets more protection, I think, than Green does. And, that's just a recipe for disaster.
I mean, I think Braehead had something in the region of 20 shots in that third period. So that, I think we took our foot off the gas too much and switched off.
Yeah, which unfortunately, I was going to say then, you do get that when you've scored so many goals in the first two periods. In the back of your mind, you are possibly thinking, well, we've got a game tomorrow. This one's already done and dusted. Do you know what? But be fair to Dan Green, he we say that triple save, fantastic. And in that situation, you're giving him minutes, and like Paul says, he didn't have much protection for him. So I think he did well with the time that he got and the saves that he made, and that's going to hopefully give him the confidence that the next time that he goes in net, whether it's due to the fact that they've swapped him with K-Wall or, God forbid, K-Wall gets injured, that he has got the confidence and he knows that he's got it. Because as a backup, we've said before on shows, that's what it's about. It's about confidence and, fair play to him. And I think, like you say, the people that have gave him a bit of criticism, you need to back off a little bit, I'm afraid.
Okay. Moving on to Sunday's game against Fife. Fife brought a big contingent of fans down, didn't they? And they also had to start with a backup netminder, Blair Daly, because of an injury to Brian Pitton. Again, we won, but it wasn't convincing.
It wasn't a classic, was it? No, I mean, but we did win.
Yeah.
It could have been a lot worse. I think getting that fifth goal when we did, straight after they'd got the third, knocked the wind out of their sails a little bit. And if that hadn't come, then the third period could have been rockier than we were. But it wasn't a great game. I didn't think we played particularly well. I think David Clark only got man of the match. There's no offence to David Clark, because the bloke who was giving it, I'd got David Clark on the back of his shirt. But hey, that's man of the match, isn't it? That, how many times doesn't that happen? But it's 2 points, and as we keep saying week in, week out, I'm sorry if you're getting bored of us saying the same things. We just want something else to happen so we can talk about something else. But you've just got to keep beating what's in front of you, and that's what we did. It means Fridays could be the biggest game ever in the history of the world. I believe. I mean, didn't Russia play America? And but this is bigger, apparently.
Five.
Yeah.
I don't know how to follow that really, but Mr. Cliche over there. Can you come up with more cliches? That's what. Probably not. No. Right. Five. The first goal they got was a bit streaky, a deflection, but the next two they scored were absolute quality goals, really good finishes. That, what was his name? Podge Turnbull, their new player who scored their second. I was really, really impressed with him. I thought he was superb.
Well, do you know what? I thought Fife did all right, actually. I thought they played some nice, fluid hockey. They seemed to all be on the same wavelength. I was thinking this at the game, that, obviously, this shows you as a netminder that you might be facing barrel of shots, which obviously theirs did, but he kept them in it, because if he had let some of them in and it would have been, another 7-8, then that's when the players become deflated. But the fact that they were still in it, and so that's got to go credit to their netminder, who had a fantastic game and was very unlucky to go off injured. And apparently, I've read reports that he's might have slipped a disc.
Yeah, it was a slip disc, and he looked in a lot of pain when he come off. I really felt for him, because
I think he fully deserved the round of applause and standing ovation from the crowd as well, because that's one of the good netminding performances of the season for me. That's in the NIC and from Fife as well. I think that's probably one of the best performances I've seen from a visiting team to a certain degree as well this season. So fair play to them, and if they carry on that form for the rest of the season, then they're going to be there or thereabouts come playoff time as well. But no, they played some good hockey.
Yeah, word for Fife.
Yeah, I mean, they did. It was, how many times this season have we seen that Gardner
Yeah.
Conference? Yeah, I can't remember. Northern Conference, you might as well. Come down here and not give us a game. They turned up and they did, and I just want to add to what I said before. But I hope Blair Daly does get well soon, because he looked really, really bad. It put stark contrast on McChesney's exit the night before. Yeah, he couldn't even shut the door properly, could he? But they turned up, they gave a game, and say, that conference, you can't get a fag packet between them, can you? The teams, it's really, really tight, and they've put a bit of a run together. Who knows what's going to happen?
All right, thanks, guys. Breaking news coming in tonight from Belfast. It turns out that their new owner.
You say owner.
Well, he's not the owner anymore, Mr. Knight. He's not the owner of the Belfast Giants anymore after just 2 months, and it seems the Odyssey Trust, a new company formed by, it looks like, the Playing Squad and Todd Kelman, if I'm reading this correctly, has, like a phoenix from the flames, arisen, and it's just a complete mess.
It is. We're only seeing what's coming out in the press release. I think you've got a comment from a friend of the show, Paddy, haven't you? Paddy Smith.
Yeah.
Evening, Paddy. It's. I assume what's been happening from the sort of the Odyssey Trust side is legal, and putting the statement out would confirm that. But it does seem as though there's been some very strange things going on there.
From what this is saying, the players didn't even play under contract at the weekend, so they didn't even have binding contracts, and it probably in a way explains the result on Friday night.
Yeah, well, obviously they had other things on their minds, maybe. Not taking anything away from commentary, though. Anyway, no. What can you say regarding it? Obviously, it's fresh out, as we record this, so there's going to be more, I imagine, over the next couple of days and stuff. But what a time for it to happen as well, though. Just not good, is it, to be honest? And like Paul says, hopefully it's from the trust side, it is all legal and stuff. But yeah, the fact they didn't play with contracts.
Yeah, that's not.
Do you want to go into that a little bit more? The Elite League, I don't know. Put it that way, I think.
I don't like seeing teams in trouble. I generally don't. I know they're title rivals, but it just doesn't seem a good situation.
It does. As much as anybody else, you feel for the fans.
Yeah.
Here, obviously, the players, they don't know if they're going to get paid. We all thought the difference between Friday and Saturday night was that Doug Christensen gave them all the rollicking. But maybe he went in there and told them, look, this is the situation as it stands now. To a greater or lesser degree, you're playing for a job. But no, but you say it's the fans you feel sorry for, because, we're lucky in Nottingham. We've had the same owner for 15 years, is it? So we've been, although we had that big wobble just before he came in and steadied the ship, but we've been slowly improving there. But but all these teams where there is all this these shenanigans going on, you just it can't be good. You could almost feel. No, I was going to say feel sorry for Sheffield, but I'm going to take that back. No. Sorry.
Well, like you said, we've had some reaction from our old mate Paddy Smith, a friend of the show. None
of us can remember his name, can
so this is what he has to say in an email. Chris Knight arrived in the whirlwind, took the stage like he believed he would be a saviour to the club, and now appears to have been placed in a position where he has little option but to depart in relative embarrassment. A short but relatively astounding chapter in the organisational history of the Belfast Giants. Many teams in this league have had their owner issues and financial faux pas. Hopefully this is but another of those that can be resigned to the history books. As a fan, his original antics made me relatively uneasy and reminded me of the faux tycoon Michael Knighton juggling the football at the Stretford end of Old Trafford with the media belief towards an imminent purchase of the club before his actual position was discovered. And to be fair to Paddy, we was talking to him a few weeks ago, and he did say exactly the same thing. Knight, while similar in name, gave a similar character, taking announcer duties, bringing in a superfan dancer, and even going as far to make a speech centre ice, claiming he will give Todd Kelman 10% of the business if the fans keep making noise.
Sounds like he's got a bit more than that.
It makes you thankful for the days of Jim Gillespie, an unassuming owner who knew that the back seat was the place to be as an owner and let those in the know steer the ship.
Sounds like us.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. I'm pleased with the professionalism of our club, the moves that have been made to dispense with Knight and the actions taken by the players, the Odyssey Trust and Todd Kelman in particular to safeguard something thousands in the north of Ireland hold dear. The players and the new organisation are to be commended for their actions, to continue in competition despite organisational turmoil being undertaken at boardroom level. Where we go from here will be nothing but a bumpy ride, but if anything, it has proven to us that Belfast Giants fans that there are people like Kelman, Christensen and many within the organisation at Belfast Giants who have as much heart in running the club as we do of support of the team, and for that we thank them. And I think he ends very positively, and he makes a very, very good point. If you haven't got these people who are prepared to step in at this time, you know, what are you going to do?
Well, you know, it also shows you that the grass isn't always greener on the other side, is it? That, you know, a lot of people moan about Nottingham and the fact we, in previous seasons, haven't, say, splashed the cash, you know, to get that extra player, to get that league title. And obviously, you know, Belfast won the league last year, and it was mooted around that, you know, they spent quite hefty on players to get it. But so I think credit has to come back to the Panthers for the business model that we hear about and stuff like that, and fair play to that. But yeah, you do need people in your team and in your organisation that actually care about the name on the badge, and it looks obviously in, you know, Kelman and Big Doug that they have got people that care about Belfast, and, you know, like we all say, it's the fans that have to pay the money, and hopefully, you know, it'll all ease itself out over time.
And it's always the fans that have to suffer as well.
It is, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that end up going without, aren't they? But you know, it's odd, because I know we're going to talk about the interview we've done with Gary Moran shortly, or maybe going to link seamlessly into it now, giving you the lead. But you know, that was the sorts, a lot of the issues that have come out of this so far from Belfast, the things that we were talking to him about. But no, it's a mess. But I think Paddy's right to end on that positive note, because at the end of the day, there's no point going over this for them now. I mean, obviously, lawyers and things, they will still be involved in it, but what the team have got to do is got to say, right, look, that's happened, that's done, we've signed, you know, it looks like we're going to get paid, we've got to keep forward, we've got to concentrate on what they're doing, which is dropping enough points so that they're at the title race, if you don't mind. Yeah, be nice. Thank you.
As you said, we interviewed Gary Moran. That's seamless.
That's what I'm here for.
Interviewed Gary Moran at the weekend, and very interesting it was.
Was I supposed? Oh, yeah. Yes, it was. Yes, it was very interesting, Jono. Yes. Move on.
Anyway, we got an awful lot of footage. We was hoping we may get it out later this week, but could be a bit later. So I'm going to talk to the editor and see how it's going. Aaron, how's the editor?
Oh, me. It was started today. Yeah, obviously there is a lot of footage. There is, you know, it was a long interview. I will do my best to get it out there as soon as possible. But obviously we want to make it, you know, worthwhile, and we want to portray the interview, which we did, and we don't want to cut any corners with that. And obviously, you know, we want to respect the Panthers in what the conversations that we've had with them about the interview. So look, it'll be out there as soon as possible. If not the end of this week, it will be sometime earlier on next week, but there might be a few little teasers come the end of the week.
There you go. Any for this show? No. All right.
Sorry.
Well, also, not only did we interview Gary Moran, but we also managed to get a few words with recent returnee to the Panthers, David Beauregard, and here's what he had to say. David, happy to be back.
I'm really happy to be back. I enjoyed my time so much, being here, and I still have a full passion about hockey. But and playing here is the best place where I ever played in my career. So I'm just really enjoying my time here.
Okay, you got a game on Wednesday night against Belfast in the Cup. How do you feel it went?
I felt really good. I felt way better than I felt when I just came back when I played in the first 3 games because I had pretty much really good practices and I got my hockey shape back, so I felt really good on the ice, and I had so much fun. I was hoping playing, but it's okay. I'll wait my turn.
Obviously, you was a big part of the Panthers team for the previous 2 seasons, and then you come back in to a team that is well in the league challenge, top of the league. How the differences between the sort of other teams you've been
do you
on?
know what? With all my years in experience, and before I came here, I agreed to just. I'm coming here and I'm going to be ready if a player got hurt or whatever. So I was really ready, but I'm really happy that the team is doing very well. I think the fans, the town, the organization deserve a big year, and right now they're having a great chance to have a wonderful year. So I think I'm very happy, and like I said, I accept my role, whatever, and I'm just enjoying my time here, and I'll be ready if they need me.
Well, David, I think you needed on commentary, so thanks very much for your time.
Anytime. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We're going to have a bit more in-depth look at the title race now. Obviously, Panthers are at the top with 11 games remaining. Sheffield, 10 games remaining in second and 3 points behind. And then Belfast in third, also with 11 games remaining, but 4 points back. Aaron.
Yes.
What do you think?
About what?
The title race.
It's a close one, isn't it? I think it's going to go down to the wire. Obviously it's probably closer now than it has been, especially between the 3 teams. Obviously Sheffield's been on quite a decent run of late. Belfast, are winning games, but then they lose the odd one. And I think we've only lost 1 league game out of the last 10 that we've played. So we're on good form. I'm still going to stick by my original statement that I made a few weeks ago that the league title will be won come Paddy's weekend.
Interesting prediction. Paul?
Yeah. I think Aaron's probably right. It is closer than it's ever been. And that weekend is key, but I've got to say I don't like our running. I'm with Aaron. 8 games away from home.
Yes, but and with no
in Belfast.
Yeah, but with absolutely no disrespect to the teams we're playing 5 teams from the Gardner Conference. Who we've
It is disrespectful, actually. Yeah,
but we've got a great record against the Gardner teams. I mean, that's fact. I'm not. I can't dress it up any other way. It is
pressure the fact that they are away games as well.
I think that's a really, really good point, because we haven't looked that great at home over the past few weeks. Yes, we've won the games, but we've not looked, apart from the Belfast Challenge Cup game, we haven't looked really convincing. And I think you're right. Away from home, I just think that pressure's off slightly, and they can play their fluid, natural game.
At the end of the day, I've got tens of fans out there who like me to sit in and be miserable about stuff. What am I going to say? I think the key, trying to change the subject desperately now, the key games now are the 2 against Belfast, the 2 against Sheffield, and the 2 against Cardiff. And I can't see us... don't get me wrong, I'd love to be proved wrong. I'd love it. Kevin Keegan, if you're watching it, I'd love it to be proved wrong. But I think we'll end up splitting all of those mini-series, as you were. And if we do, then we can't afford to lose another game anywhere, and then you lap of the gods territory.
I mean, I think the triple header in Scotland is a really important series. 3 games in 3 nights. I'm glad we've got the Stars first, because I wouldn't like them last. Because they are a good side, especially at home. Yeah, but there's still a good side at home.
Anybody could beat anybody in this league.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Actually, you are right.
I do the cliches.
Sorry.
But I'm going to stick my neck out. I think we will win Friday's game, because I think it's one of those games where in the past this season we've games we've really had to win. We've turned up and we've won them. And I'm thinking that the game in Sheffield, after we lost 9-4, we went and won 4-2. We had to win that game, and we went and won it. And I think this is one of those situations. I agree. I think it could probably be sorted out by St Patrick's weekend. Not only with that Giants series, but if you look at the other fixtures as well, Sheffield have got an away game against the Blaze on the Saturday, I think, and then home to Devils on the Sunday. So they certainly haven't got an easy weekend.
No, and if you look at the Panthers, then the Devils and the Blaze, isn't it? Like we've just said. So, I don't. Well, I just think I'd prefer our run into the other two, to be honest. I think just purely because, and I get what Paul is saying, the fact that they are away games and they're against lesser opposition, like we're saying, no disrespect. So you could say that we are expected to win them. So does that then put more pressure on? But come on, if you really had to choose, would you rather play Belfast, Cardiff, Sheffield, or would you rather play Edinburgh, Fife, Dundee? Yeah. Really, because that's what it comes down to, basically, when you look at the fixtures. So,
yeah. I mean, looking at the Giants' fixture list, I mean, they've got 2 games against Steelers, 3 games against Devils, 2 games against us, a game against the Blaze. That's not a nice running.
When you look at it, the Devils hold the key.
Yeah, they do actually.
We've got that double header against them, right? That last weekend. You're on about. Sorry, they're on a thing here. I'm trying to focus on both. I do apologise. We're not professional. It shows.
We don't have a
Hang on.
what are they called? Auto feed, auto script, auto cue. That's
yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. So yes, you're over there. Yeah. So. Got bubbles on it now. So the Giants have got 3 games straight against the Devils as well. So Cardiff really are the key to this, I think, and it's how teams perform against them. And we've not had a great record down there this season. So.
Plus, they are a side that can turn up one week and then not turn up the next day as well. Yeah. So, that in that sense, you don't know what you're going to get. So, like Paul says, I think they do hold the key to the secret of who's going to win the Elite League.
There is some good news,
though. The Open Cookie Collective, that takes me back. That
was completely washed over me. There is some good news, though. Just think, if Didier Mete hadn't have gone home, the league could have been in his hands. Like Saruman in Lord of the Rings, trying to control.
I've not watched it.
You've not watched it?
I've not watched it.
Have you watched The Italian Job yet?
No.
What a sad excuse for a British man.
Come on, Charlie. What do you reckon to the league running? Who do you think could win it for the Panthers?
Who could?
Yeah, come on.
I think.
Who cares? He's never seen Lord of the Rings. What does he know?
I think the key, the secret to Panthers winning the league is David Ling. I think he's the best player in the league.
On water, it would have been.
No, he is. He's the best player in the league. In my opinion, I'm not seeing anyone better than him, and I think the way he plays, he will he will lead us to a championship. I think he's the key player. He'll be the one who does it for us. He'll be the one who comes up with that important goal, that important play, that important pass.
I'm going to say that the most important person for us is Corey Nielsen, because at the end of the day, he is the person that is going to have to calm the guys down when it gets to that point where we could win it. You know, it's getting closer and closer. He's the one that's going to have to manage the side, coming any injuries, you know, the extra import, etc. I think how he manages the players when it gets to more critical stages will be whether we win the title or not.
We know Corey is very much one game at a time. He will not be looking ahead to that Devils game. He will not be looking ahead. He will have his primary focus now on the Steelers game on Friday.
And that's what it should be. That's what you've got to do. There's no point going galloping ahead. You know, you've got to play one game at a time. You've got to play what's put in front of you. That's two in one sentence. But in all seriousness, that's his job. That's what he's got to do. He's got to keep the players' feet on the ground. That doesn't count. And you know, you just got to focus on what we've got to do. You know, I mean, I hope those were the league bingo. Do you see the league cliche bingo cards that were on Cage Forum today? Ticking all these off. I'm doing my best for you. I mean, 1956 is a long time ago, so let's be hoping. But you know, how dare you? You know, seriously, it is a game at a time. You know, it's the Steelers on Friday, then it's the Clan, then it's Belfast for the Challenge Cup second leg, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and we've just got to keep moving forward. Got to keep doing what we've been doing, winning. And if you've got to win ugly, you've got to win ugly. You know, it's all right. We beat, say, Braehead Saturday night, but so I just had a flashback to the bloke we were talking to in the pub. Sorry, I don't know your name, but I was saying that I would find something to moan about Saturday, and it was the fact that we sat back too much. But you've got to do that because you know these are a marathon. These things are a marathon, not a sprint. And I think I'd better leave it there.
I think we're going to look ahead to the future games now. I like to leave Sheffield till last because it's such a big game. I like to look first at the second leg of the Challenge Cup against Belfast next Tuesday.
Okay.
Is that all right with you?
Am I allowed to talk now?
Yes.
Then?
Go on.
Yeah, I suppose.
Right, so obviously we're going into the Odyssey with a 5-1 lead. We should come out of there with an aggregate win. However, obviously we've publicised the difficulties that the Giants are experiencing at the moment. That could galvanise them.
Possibly, yeah, it could do. Or it could go the other way. You never know. So I'm glad.
Wait to hedge your bets.
I'm going to sit on the fence. No, I'm glad we're going over there with 5-1. It's a good lead, but you know, one period and we don't score any, they score 3. All of a sudden, it's squeaky bum time. So, I would like to think that you know we've got enough in us to grind that result out, and I do think it will probably come down to the fact of look, if we can get a few goals early on in the first period, and maybe put it beyond them to a certain degree, confidence-wise, then that'll do me fine. But yeah, I think it's about grinding that one out, to be honest.
Paul?
Yeah, I mean the thing is as well. I mean I think it's their 4th game in 6 days. It will be, but Aaron's right. We've got to do what we've done against a lot of teams, like we did against Braehead, like we did to an extent against Fife, which is come out early, get the early goals, and then we can then control the game so much better. You know, if we can take that out to a 5 to a 6 goal lead, you know, then it just makes it a lot harder for them to come back. But anything can happen in these situations. Come on, we're Panthers fans. We were talking as we were going home from the game last night, you know, about the days, you know, we went through a spate where a 4-goal lead we kept losing them. So I mean, things. I'm talking a long time ago now. Things are different, but we can't walk into the game thinking we've got this one won. You can't do that with any game, because if you do, you don't.
So Braehead on Saturday. Now, obviously, we beat them. As we said, we beat them without much trouble on last Saturday. They're going to be a completely different proposition in their own barn.
Oh, definitely, and I imagine they would have had a few rockets put up their bottoms for when we visit them on Saturday. So I expect to see a far more hungry, more determined, more gelled together side. So yeah, that's going to be a tricky game to play, to be honest. And I've just said it about the Belfast, but I would say it's another one that you just have to grind. It's not about the fancy flicks and the fancy play. It's just about everybody doing their job, defending well, offering protection to K-Wall, and when we get the chances, which is what we did against Braehead on Saturday, to be fair, we took them. Because up there's probably when we might not get as many chances as we did against Braehead this Saturday. So yeah, tough game.
And of course, a lot will depend on how much energy we put into Friday night's game. So we could go up there tired. So potential banana skin.
Well, it is, but they're playing Friday night as well, and it's going to be. I think it'll be a very different game to Saturday just gone. They're in front of their home fans, although I sort of envy Braehead fans, because I don't think I'd have been that cheerful if I'd have travelled 500-600 mile round trip to see the team get stuff like that and still be applauding at the end of the game. I'd have been on my feet, but I wouldn't have been applauding.
On the way to the nearest public house, no doubt.
Well, I might have offered a few words of encouragement before I did leave, but so they're going to be at home in front of their fans. Italy McChesney's first came back, so obviously misses the game, I think, against Blaze on Friday night, as does the all-round angel Ben Olsen for his was it 30th stick offence or something?
It was a 6-stick offence and a match ban and another match ban for something else,
as my kids would say, standard. So it's going to be it will be a very, very different game, I think, and it's one that it's going to be a tough game for us. There's no two ways about it, but that's the way it is. That's the league. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day.
And then finally, we've got Friday night, a little matter of a sold-out NIC and the nearest and dearest, the lovely Sheffield Steelers, who I love so much, paying us a visit.
Move up there. Right?
Oh God, yeah. Oh, I'd love it. Yeah, all I will say is Panthers. Well, yeah. Panthers, win. Please, just win. Please, I don't care how you do it, just win.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I know we've said it about Sheffield Panthers games before, but I do think this one's I think it's going to be an absolute firecracker. Because
well, I was going to say, how many times have we said that? This is going to be a corking game, this. And he said,
I just think that there is so much riding on it. Yes, we play them again later, a few weeks later, I think it is. But, if from both teams' points of view, these games you need to win if you want to win the title. And I think they will come out hard and fast and play the Sheffield way, which we all know. And
filthy.
And accept. That was Jono's statement, Finity, so not mine. No, they're going to come and be in our faces. They're going to want to come into our barn and beat us. But I honestly do think that we will be up for this one. I think if we win this, then that sends out a bit of a marker to go, do you know what, we are serious about this title. And yes, we could have slipped up against our nearest and dearest, but you know what, no, we're going to go and beat them. And we're going to go and put another 2 points up on that board, and we're going to go, thank you very much, and we'll have a nice coach journey up to Braehead on the Saturday.
Because it's the difference, isn't it? We win, we go 5 points clear of Sheffield with a game in hand. They win, still got the game in hand, but they're only 1 point behind us.
You moan, don't you, about me saying cliches, and then you give me a line like that. It's almost screaming for me to say 4-pointer, aren't you?
Go on!
So no, I won't. No, but you're right. Like Aaron says, these are the games you want to win, and if we don't win games like this, we don't deserve to win the league. The team that wins the league, it's never a coincidence. Things like the playoffs, things like the Challenge Cup, that's the fella. You can have a bit of a fluky run, and there's all these people saying, "Oh, Panthers." They're all fluky win playoffs. They're all going, "Yeah, he's admitting to it." I'm not, but you can. I mean, look at 2006 when we won the playoffs. 7. I'm old. We won the playoffs then because of one man, because of Rashdo. He decided, right, those penalty shots aren't going to get past me, and they didn't. But a league, you win. It's no coincidence that the best team wins the league. Over that, it's the most consistent. It's the ones who turn up for the games like this and win them. So, if we don't win these games and Sheffield go on and win the league, fair play to them. Well, argue the point then instead of pulling faces.
The league table doesn't lie.
No, it doesn't lie, and you're right.
I've avoided that one.
The most consistent team wins the league, and to be fair to Sheffield, they're putting a hell of a run together at the minute. They've won a lot of games recently, and they've been scaring me out of all the teams. They're the ones I'm thinking, oh God, please do not let it happen again. Do not let it happen again against them. But what will be will be.
Come Friday, I'm sure we'll know a little bit more. And just touching on that very quickly, but yeah, these are the games that you do need to win. But again, it's the other games as well. It's the games against the Braehead, because there's no point if we win on Friday and then we go and slip up on Braehead. Friday's wasted at the end of the day. Yes, we've took 2 points off, a rival in a thing, but we've then gone and lost those 2 points near enough. So it doesn't. You've got to win every game. But no, it's these are the games that if we're serious about it, and the players, like Yilling, like Foxy, who I'd just like to say I thought he's played well over the last, the weekend. I think he's really done quite well. To say he's been on D for most of the season. I think he had a good couple of games on Friday and Saturday. So Jordan Fox, well played. But no, these are the games that you need to win, and the players need to turn up, like Yilling, like Wilson. How will he play? Foxy, how will he play at the D? Weaver, the calming influence at the back. It's going to be a firecracker, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it'll be a nervous game, and I think it'll be 1 or 2 goals either way. And I think it's going to be nervous, and I think there'll be mistakes because the players will be nervous because there's so much riding on it.
Yeah. Ask me at 11 o'clock on Friday.
Could be every time, you don't know.
Well,
it could be
even the winner on over, as long as we get more points than them, I think that's just the lead, doesn't it? Right. Well, I think we'll leave it there, gents. Thanks as ever for your company over the past.
Thank you for letting me on your show.
That's all right. Anytime.
Thank you.
You. Of course, we'll be back next week.
Well, we'll see.
Me and Aaron will be back next week. Paul obviously won't be. We'll be looking back at the Sheffield and Braehead games, and also looking ahead to the Scottish triple header weekend. So until next week, goodbye. Have you noticed how our audience retention figures always drop off after the titles?
It's not surprising, is it?